Hey everyone, so I'm actually about to go on vacation in a couple of weeks, and I wanted to talk about continuous learning. So, we always have millionaires come on different platforms, and they always talk about how Warren Buffett reads a book every day, or how your favorite author or your favorite whoever reads a book every single day. And, when I started my real estate journey, even before I started my real estate journey, it really started when I was investing in a stock market and my uncle showed me that his home had appreciated $20,000 in 1 year, which was 10x what I had made in the real estate market. However, with a lot less money down, of course, in the stock market, however, with a lot less money down than he had invested into his real estate. But that was beyond the point. The 20,000 stuck out to me, and I saw that as a valuable option. I was working at Amazon as an area manager, only making $50,000 a year at the time, fresh out of college and brand new to Columbus. I had a car payment of about $145 a month on a Chevy Cruze 2015 Premier. It was a really good ride with peanut butter seats, and I loved it. And I also was living on my own in a 2-bedroom apartment that was costing me about $975 before utilities. So I was living a life, but at the same time I was able to save maybe $200-$300 a month. I can't truly remember how much I was saving. I was probably saving a lot more than that, because by the end of the year I had a quite a bit of money. But it was COVID time, and there was some bonuses that also came with moving. I had a relocation package. I had received a very small bonus when the COVID scare kind of came to a close, and everybody was receiving extra pay from the associate level, but all the managers, we weren't receiving any of that. So they finally gave us a bonus towards the tail end, which I had used to pay off the car, and then I continued to invest from there. But there was one thing that I did during that whole COVID time when everybody was not going out and not doing anything. I bought this book, and it was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I did not expect this book to capture me, as I had got out of college and I wasn't really an avid reader, and I wasn't really interested in many books, to be honest with you. But when I started to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I started to take pictures of certain quotes within the book, certain lines within the book, certain things that kind of transformed my way of thinking. It let me know that people can literally own the world with debt. People can have something that they believe is an asset, but it's actually a liability. I remember my uncle used to be mad at me when I called his primary residence a liability. And it's a liability because you pay on it and you're not getting cash from it. Would it be more cheaper to rent? Probably not. But renting is also a liability. It doesn't change the fact that you have a cheaper liability. It's only an asset when it puts money in your pocket and doesn't take money out. And when you adopt that mindset, it changes your frame of thinking to where you don't want the biggest house in the world being more expensive than all of your assets. You don't want to be paying on your liability through your assets. You want your assets to support all your liabilities. And I think that's where the struggle still is because a lot of people are trying to maintain their lifestyle without increasing their assets first. They want to increase lifestyle even without increasing their assets by twofold what their lifestyle is. You see, you can get a $1 million home and cripple yourself financially to where you can no longer afford to buy assets. Or you can buy $1 million in assets and then buy a $700,000 home and still be able to afford more assets to then make that $700,000 home almost like absolutely nothing. But in order to get there, you must continue and continue and continue to increase your assets and limit your liabilities. And that takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of personal resilience. And when you have a spouse, when you have other people involved, it can be that much more difficult, because now you have to put other people's opinions, feelings, and beliefs into every single decision that you make. Now your life is no longer your own. And so you must take that into account as well. But essentially, what I did was, prior to going on my vacation, I ordered a few books. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I had ordered for a second time because I had given that book away to one of my family members. This time I'm going to keep this book in the house for others to read whenever they want to, or for me to review over again and see if there's certain things that I had missed. I also got Everyday Millionaire by Chris Hogan, because I am not someone who just believes debt is king all the time. We're now in an inflationary environment where cash is actually king. If you have cash, you can buy anything you want right now. But if you rely on debt, a lot of people are priced out of the housing market because of it. So, are you someone who has to rely on a bank, or will you become the bank for yourself? If you can purchase a home in cash and then liquidate it by 50%, it might not be that expensive to you and you can still cash flow a great deal. But because you can't liquidate your assets, because you don't have the cash, you are reliant on bank debt, and you are reliant on debt itself. If you had cash like a Dave Ramsey, like a Chris Hogan, you would realize that cash is king in a high interest rate environment. And I will continue to say that. Cash is not always king. Sometimes it's a prince. And debt is not always king. Sometimes it's a prince. Right now, in 2023, cash is king and debt is a prince. Debt is a last resort, but most and oftentimes it's a first resort for most people who don't have the ability or the option of buying in cash. Another book that I got was Paycheck to Purpose by Ken Coleman. You see, as I continue my career journey, because I'm not self-reliant on real estate itself, I realized that, although hopping from job to job does increase my paycheck, and it has substantially, I make over $10,000 more than what I did when I first got out of college. Well over $10,000 more. And not to just throw any number out there. But at some point, when you start to make a lot of money in your career, you realize that you have a lot of money and you can do all that you really want to do. I can continue to invest. I continue to do whatever I want. Now it's time to find something that gives you meaning, something that brings you a purpose, something that really drives you. And the restaurant industry isn't really a driving factor for me. It doesn't motivate me to wake up every day. It doesn't get me going. It wasn't like Amazon, which gave me some meaning. I was literally shipping random things to people every single day, something that someone needed every single day, helping those in need. When you have 100 workers and it's COVID and people are losing family members and people don't know what to do, I was able to support so many people. And it's something I don't really talk about, but, even financially helping some associates, because I wanted to ensure that they were able to eat a proper meal, and, that's a benefit of having a life together, that you are able to support others and be a benefit to others. And, not everybody sees that. But, of course, you can't help everybody, but you try to help those who you see are literally working as hard as they possibly can for their family. I'm talking about people who were working double, triple shifts to support children when their family member had passed away. So Paycheck to Purpose, I hope, will give me some insight onto what I should be looking for in my next career, what I should be looking for in the management space, in the management industry, and what will bring that passion and that drive to me. And of course, I want some upward mobility. I want the ability to move up. And I do have people contacting me requiring my services. But before I make a leap, I want to ensure that this time around I am making the best decision long term, because I want to be at a company long term. I've reached a place where I'm getting paid, and I want to now have purpose in my job. So Paycheck to Purpose is another book that I have. And then I have some books by Brandon Turner. I purchased 2 books by Brandon Turner about seller financing as well as property investing, which is going to open up my mind a lot into that creative financing space. And then I have a book by Dave Ramsey. I was not going to get the baby steps because he talks about that a lot. And to be honest, I wouldn't follow that to a T. I don't have any debt outside of my properties that I use for investments, and I do plan to pay them off. However, I'm not an aggressive, I need to pay off my investment properties that cash flow and bring me in a steady income. I'm not that bullish on doing that. So for me, the book that I took from Dave Ramsey was, if I can remember correctly, the full guide on how to make money, something to that effect. It was like the complete guide on how to make money. It wasn't the total money makeover one, but it was something like the complete guide on money. So I wanted to get a better insight onto what Dave was thinking about when he decided to get rid of his debt. Outside of the fact that he was terrified of debt, outside of the fact that, debt had ruined his life when the banks closed his notes. What truly motivated you? Because you could have done better debt structures like Robert Kiyosaki. You could have done better debt structures like Grant Cardone. But you could have done better debt structures like Brandon Turner and so many other multimillionaires in the real estate industry today. But you did one of the riskiest processes, which has transformed you now into probably the wealthiest non-debt holder in America today. And that's saying something, right? So to almost be a billionaire without debt is somebody that you should have at least one book by, and you should be reading for understanding and see which path you want to go down. But for me, it's very obvious that each and every single person you can learn from. So I'm somebody who will utilize debt when it is to a benefit. And I'm also somebody who will utilize paying things off when it's to a benefit. I understand paying things off means more tax liabilities, but I'd rather pay taxes on cash that I'm earning than pay on something that's not earning me anything if a tenant refuses to pay me that month, right? So Dave Ramsey lives a life of true freedom, of true peace. And as I continue to acquire homes and pay them off casually, eventually I'll be able to do the same, which is the hope, which is the inspiration, which is the goal. Once you hit 10, 5, 15 million in properties and you're just acquiring $400,000 units and properties, it will not be too much when it comes to paying cash for certain things to add to your wealth, to add to your portfolio. So that's where I would hope to get to in life. but it's not a big goal of mine. My goal is to just have 5 clear and free units, and that means it could be a duplex, it could be a single family residence. When I say units, I mean a single property. So a duplex is 1 unit to me. It's not 2 doors, you know, those little terms that make you feel good. I got 100 doors, but really you only got 20 properties. At the end of the day, I just use singular terms. There's nothing to be excited about. It's only something to be worried about what it brings in, what cash it brings in. I don't get excited about the terms, and you shouldn't either, right? We don't get attached to the properties. We don't get attached to the doors. We don't get attached to the units. We get attached to the cash flow. That's the only thing we should ever be attached to when it comes to real estate investing. So if you ever see somebody super excited about how many doors they have, just run away. We don't get caught up in that stuff. We don't get caught up in the fancy cars, the fancy this and that. All we're interested in is how much money we are able to make from each and every single deal. If you like this video, if you like the insight that I have to offer, make sure you subscribe for more, because you know, I feel like I'm a mix of that Dave Ramsey area, but that Robert Kiyosaki and Brandon Turner philosophy as well, with a little bit of Warren Buffett tied in, because none of them really talk about the stock market too much, and I definitely will get on that. So if you like this, make sure you leave a like, comment, and definitely subscribe for more. You know I post every single day at 8 a.m. daily, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Peace.